A very merry afternoon to everyone. I am Sukrut Dandekar, and today I take immense pleasure in moderating this inspiring and motivating session. To make this session more interactive and fruitful, let's switch on our cameras and keep our microphones on mute. Hello, sir. It feels great to connect with you today. Before we
Same
start
here.
with our session, I would like to give a small introduction about our speaker. A father, an illustrator, an infographist, and a photographer, Raj has an experience of almost 2 decades in the news media. He built this tall wall of experience by working with the Times of India, Economic Times, India Today, and Network 18. Currently, he is working with Network 18 as a creative director. As an artist, Raj likes to experiment with various materials and techniques and believes in innovation in all of his creative pursuits. He earned his bachelor's degree in visual arts from the Government College of Arts and Crafts in Kolkata. Delhi-based artist Raj first came into the mainstream limelight in 2014, where his Desi superheroes took the internet by storm. Featured in BuzzFeed, Scoop Whoop, BBC, etc., the series still makes its rounds on social media today. Raj believes in the idea that art is first and foremost a medium of expression, which can also bring happiness to the creator and observer. He is renowned on social media most for his ability to transform seemingly mundane paraphernalia, a tobacco spit stain, a sanitary pad, a crack on a wall, a Tupperware lid, into eye candy. According to this, adding to this, Raj is also the illustrator of This Is Not an Art Book and 10 Forms of Makali. We are glad to have with you today, sir. Over to you.
Thank you so much for this lovely introduction. Without wasting much of your time, talking about myself, I think the best way to go forward is to just, show my work. And so let's start with my CV, which we all be needing and we all need, when we start a career or when you're changing a job. So, okay. Can you guys see it?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. So, see, like you said, I mean, I'm a data visualizer or infographist. So when it came to making my CV, I thought, I mean, this was made about, I guess, 6, 7, 8 years back. So the idea was that how do I showcase my skill and show the, wherever I'm applying that, okay, fine, this is what I do, without, because I do not believe in writing much, because we all have our different skill set, and since for me it is art, so I thought that my CV should talk on its own without writing much about it. So that's the basic idea of this. So I thought, okay, fine, we all working at the end of the day to earn our living, to eat food, right? To bring food on the table. So so that was the basic idea. So I was just, because every evening, back at that time I was working for Economic Times. We every evening, excuse me, we used to go out of the office and have little snacks. So I bought, excuse me. So I bought a little bit of snack, and I thought, what, I'll arrange them in such a way that it will become my CV. So this was one example, and similarly, this was one example, and this is another. Because see, I believe that that anything that will be given to us can be taken up as a challenge, because because I believe that there is, of course, a accepted norm that this is how a CV should be, but I just believe that we all should try making something new. It might fail, it might not be accepted, that's all right, because frankly speaking, I never got a job with the help of the CV. But my goal was to make something new. So I do not know I'm not going to say how good or how awesome it is. I'm just going to say, okay, fine, I tried. I honestly tried to do something new. I mean, looking back at a work which was done 6 years back, frankly speaking, I believe that there are so many things that can be changed. But back then, 6-7 years back, for me, this was what I could do. So this was done like, I guess 3 years back. So you can see that, with time, all our works change. Right. So the goal is to keep on working. Because if we don't work, we won't evolve. Because if we don't make mistake, because the day you realize that you are learning is when you look at your old work and say that, oh gosh, I can't even look at it. It's so bad it is. So you have to have that thing, because it's not that we'll see. The thing is, even a masterpiece, it takes so much of bad work to create a masterpiece. So we can't just sit and try to do something like really, really good without even thinking that there won't be any failure in the process. There will be failures, but that's the joy of it. So yeah, so this is another example. So I mean, now over the time, this has become a project of mine. Over the years, I keep on making my CV, and as you can see that over the years, for me at least, it is becoming much more cleaner design wise. But then 6 years back, I couldn't have thought of a design like this. So it took me 6 years of errors and trials in order to reach there. So yeah, so there goes my CV. And yeah, so like you were saying that as a designer or as an art director, whatever you want to mention it, I mean, it's like it's essential, I believe, to have different skill set. You don't have to be master of everything, but you should have a working knowledge, because you do not know which skill set is going to come in handy. So this was done for Environment Day. So the brief was that the amount of waste we are creating while trying to combat COVID, these gloves and these syringes, whatever was going, rather are still going in the landfill, and it's creating an ecological disaster. So this was the brief. So yeah, so this was created when I believe there was a first lockdown that was happening in Delhi due to COVID, and everybody, without paying attention to their own safety, were queuing to the book. So it is my sarcastic take on the absolute vodka ad. So absolute stupidity. So yeah, then yeah, so this is this work is quite close to my heart. So this was made, this is an infographics. So what I was trying to do was that that Borolin as a brand is quite famous and integral part, essential, I should say, to Bengali life or Bengali lifestyle, whoever is in the east of the country, that is. So so I just tried to focus on the history of it. So see, I mean, so I thought that, instead of making a normal graphic, why don't I take the Borderline and use it and I shoot it and make a graphic out of it. So that was the main aim. And then we should also remember that before making something, we should try to understand that the target audience or the people we are making it for, right? Because we should understand that why we are making something, because that's the first question that we need to be very clear about. At least it's for our own sake. Do not think about what the audience will think or what your boss will think. Just you be sure that why you are making it, for whom you are making it. Because if you have a clear answer, then the work will automatically be good. And of course, over time, your work will evolve. What you will be making now, it will change in another 5 years. So that is nothing to worry about. Of course, it will be when you guys will be joining a job, it will be a scary experience, but trust me, that's how we all started. It's nothing to be scared of. There will be people, and you know what, and I think that's the best learning process, to make mistake, to go to the office, be a little afraid that that it is this performance anxiety that has to be there. Because the thing is, you cannot make something right from the day, from the first day. Errors have to be there, and that's the beauty of it. Because while making this graphic, for example, I realized that due to my past experience, I knew that if I put ointment on a piece of paper, that oil or whatever chemical that is going to bleed to the paper. So I had to be very quick while shooting this photo. So these are small things, but the thing is, the more you do it, the better you know that how to handle what situation and how to handle what material. So yeah, so this was done when the farmers were protesting, for that MSRP. I mean, what am I forgetting the thing? They're protesting for that for that government policy. So I thought that I can easily draw a hand with a which is like a protest symbol, but when you talk about farmers, we either we think of soil, because there are things that people associate something with. Because whenever a brief is given, when we're talking about particular subject, there are few things that are solely associated with. So if you ask me about farmers, I'll think about the soil. So I thought, why don't I use the soil and make the protest symbol out of it? So that's the idea behind this. And sorry. Yeah, so this was made for Women's Day, I believe, or Girl Child Day. So because when we talk about girl child or girls, we think about flowers, right? Something as delicate as a flower. So I thought, why don't I use a plant or a flowering plant and make the women's symbol out of it? See, the thing is, I could have photoshopped it, but it wouldn't have been this natural. This entire process of plucking the flower or whatever, like choosing the stems or whatever, makes it very personal. By the way, if you guys have any question midway, you can ask me. If you have anything that you ask, if you want to ask about any of my previous work that I have showed, feel free to ask. Well, this is not the entire graphic because it had numbers on it. So basically what I was trying to show was this is a hilsa fish. I mean, those of you eat fish or eat hilsa fish, it's considered a delicacy in the eastern region. So what I was trying to show is which country fishes the most hilsa fish. So I bought a fish from the market and I had cut it as per the data, because I could have easily taken a photograph of hilsa fish from the internet and would have easily used Photoshop to draw lines on it. But the beauty of this is when you actually slice it or make it as per your own, the graphics takes a different direction altogether. So see, I mean, many people ask me which app you have used, which software you have used. I believe that it's never the software that is going to do your work. The only hardware that you need is the brain that you have. And software can easily help us take the easy way out. But and sometimes in the time of crisis, in the time of meeting the deadline, we have to take shortcuts. But you know what, that 5-minute delay of putting that time, taking the time out, making something, or going out to the market, buying that thing and make something with your hand or photographing it without relying on a software makes your work different. You won't have the luxury of time. I get it. It's not that in every time you will be given that time, but trust me, you'll also get time if you take time out. So do not think that if you love photography, your phone camera is the solution. Our phone cameras are good, but trust me, you need a proper camera. If you're about design, if you're talking about being a graphic designer or an art director, you need a proper camera because you need to know. Okay, any question? Well, this was done for, I believe it was done for some tea day, because we have a lot of days. I mean, which actually quite stupid, but it gives me an opportunity to create something. So I thought, whenever we think of tea, I mean, I at least think of Parle-G biscuit. So for me, tea time is that, at least it used to be at one point of time. So I thought, why don't I make a scene where Parle-G is part of the tea time? So that's why I made this chair and table with Parle-G biscuit. Again, it was not photoshopped, and that's why I like it. It's not very difficult to make. I mean, trust me, it's just with some cardboard or something. But yeah, so this was for some. The line I believe remember, it's called "Heal the World." So it's some nature or something, ecology, whatever. So basically, the idea was due to our selfish way of living, and the world is suffering, all the animal life. So I thought, when we say the word heal, what symbols we use? What are the things that we think of? Band-aid, right? Or some kind of a. So I had made this. I think it was a series of four visuals where I made animals made up of band-aid. So this was one part of it.
Sir, there are a few questions in the chat.
Yeah. Okay.
So the first question is, what is your process about ideation and how do you execute it?
See the thing. Okay, sorry, I didn't look at all those.
I'll read them out for you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. What is the process about ideation and how do you execute? Well, the process is like, earlier what I used to do is, I mean, I still do, but now I do it digitally. I make a sketch out of it. I mean, in the first I make a sketch. You take a piece of paper or a notebook and you draw whatever, the thing that is coming to your head first. Because, the first idea can never be, I mean, sometimes it is the case, but in most cases, I mean, it's not that the first.
Sir, you're muted.
Okay. Am I okay now? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. So the thing is, the first, the thing that we do is we make a layout, we make a sketch, right? We draw it out, we take a notebook or you do it digitally, we have to make a sketch that, where your visuals is coming, then where the headline is coming, where the important text, because we need to know what are the things that is going to be there. It's like if we are making a house of say 4 people, we are probably going to make a say 600 square feet house. We are not going to make a 6,000 square feet house for a 4 people, right? So we need to know what is going to, or how much is going to be put in that graphics or visual. Then the ideation comes that, okay, fine, what we are talking about, whom we are going to address it. So the first is a sketch. I believe that, taking a notebook and a pencil, paper, I mean, it's good because in our days, it's very, we are losing contact, of that, paper, pencil, and, all those things. So it's not bad to keep a notebook with you. So whenever there is a idea session happening, just jot it down, the points, and then make a sketch. And then you start, then you go to the computer. Because sometimes what happens is, like, when you go in front of the computer just after getting a brief, there is a tendency of us getting overwhelmed, because due to the internet and everything, there are so many information that is there. There is a chance we might get influenced and be taken to a different direction. So in order for a clarity of I mean, this is my observation. Again, I mean, this is how I work. I'm not saying that this is the way one should work, but what I have seen that, because I guess you guys must be doing from time to time, like digital detox, right? You guys must be using that term. So in order to think, I believe that, sometimes it is essential for us to step away from the internet, because then we can focus a bit. Yeah. Nipun, is that okay? I mean, did you get your answer? Great. Okay, now to Nishant.
Sir, my answer is I'm not posting a question.
Yeah,
Like you keep on experimenting things. The way
yeah,
you work in your studio or you work in your own zone, like to take something out of it, to take
yeah,
something, to take something out of the scrap,
yeah,
or just recycle it, or just recycle it.
yeah.
So it just evolves your brain senses.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're Nipun, right?
Nishant.
Nishant, sorry. Nishant, you're right. I mean, that's the way I see it also, because I'll just show you that
Right, sir.
what happens is, see, this I made when the PV Sindhu got that silver medal in the Olympics, if I'm not wrong, or something like that, if I'm forgetting the event. So like you're saying that whatever I'm trying to do is actually for my, is to keep my brain sharpened. So whenever we think of skirt, in this case, we do not think of skirt. I mean, the way we define skirt visually is by the shape of it, right? So it's a triangle, more or less. So I thought that, the closest to it, to that shape, is a shuttlecock. So that means a skirt and a shuttlecock are the same. I'm talking about visually. So the more we practice, actually we are practicing the geometry. Because if we look at a table is nothing, it's a rectangle with 4 legs, right? So in that logic, or by that logic, a table is also a dog, because a dog is also a rectangle with 4 legs. So if we look at objects by the geometry, you will see essentially or inherently, like, there are so many similarities in so many, between so many objects, or things that we use or deal with. So look at things as geometries, then you will see the similarity of it. Like this I made for something related to Kashmir. So I was not trying to make any political statement or anything. I was just trying to, there was a stone pelting event or like incident that was happening then at that time. So I thought that, so I went out of my office and I just picked random stones, like, so when I started arranging it, I saw, oh, you know what, it looks like butterfly. Because I'm just looking at the shape. I'm not trying to look into the color or anything. I'm just looking at the geometry. So so this applies to our idea also. The way we work also, it's like if we simplify our thought, right? Because when you are hungry, Nishant, in the middle of the night, when we go to raid the fridge, we are not looking for biryani. We are looking for even a pack of biscuit. So there, the essence is the food. When you go hungry from your college, no matter what our mother cooks, we eat it like, as if it's the biryani that we never had, because it's made by our mother. So it's the food that we need. It's the emotion. So yeah, like you said, it's the geometry that I'm looking for, and I believe that helps me in all the work I do. That's why when I had to make infographic where I was talking about leopards, so I needed to show a trend line. So I thought, why don't I use its tail? Because for me, a tail and a trend line are the same.
So you are connecting sketches with the live material, whatever is available onto your board or table.
I see. The thing is, I do not believe that there will be an accepted or a prescribed way always, because you might find something else. What you need is the clarity that what you want to do. The day you understand that, you know what, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to show, and the reason I make things, what you can say is it's illustrated or quirky or funny, some might say. It's because I believe that if I were to show this to a villager, or for that matter, my parents also, probably your parents also, who are busy with their own professional work and their duties, they do not care about a very serious looking graphic or a data. So I have to show them something that they appreciate, that they like. So that's the reason I choose a visual language like this.
Got it, sir. Okay.
Okay, and yeah, so similarly for this also, so what I did was I was making a graphic on shark finning. So I decided that, you know what, I mean, I'll make a shark, or I made two sharks out of clay, and I used that on the graphic because I knew that it's very easy to get a shark visual or a photo of a shark from the internet, from Getty or Shutterstock. But if I make it, I'll be able to make it as per my need, my exclusive need. So, and it will be of course different. So that was the reason I created this. Okay. Yeah. So this was made on the on plastic pollution and the impact it is having on the ocean life. So this was shot again. This was not any digital manipulation on Photoshop, and it's pretty easy to make also. I had just used some sticky tapes to just put them in place. So yeah, so this is one again. Let me see. Where did I keep it? Yeah. This is another example of that. And so this was made for something related to education or something, or maybe books and education or something related to it. So I was just trying to show that, you know, it's staircase to, you know, some kind of, you know, opportunity or something like that. Stairs to opportunity, yeah. So I had just, you know, used a notebook that was lying in my house, and I folded it and made it look like stairs, and I shot it. So yeah, this was made when, you know, because from time to time the air in Delhi gets, like, you know, really unbreathable. So I used a, like, in a normal mask, pollution mask, and, you know, wrote air with it. Pretty self-explanatory, I believe. This was made for our corporate calendar. Yeah, this is one of the page. Yeah, this was for some anti-tobacco day or something like that. So I mean, it was, the idea was that, you know, kick the habit or something like that. So I had borrowed, I mean, probably a pack of cigarette, like, you know, from my friends, and broke it, and, like, you know, tried to make art with it. So yeah, because sometimes, you know, I mean, there will be time where we'll have to take a conscious decision that either the text stays or the visual stays. Because if the text is strong, we don't need to put a visual along with it. And likewise, if the visual is strong, we don't necessarily need a text with it, because, you know, it will be pretty much self-explanatory. So as you can see, this was made for Raksha Bandhan and all. I mean, you know, so I had made this with, you know, this. These are all items that I got from a craft store. And again, the joy for me, the joy was, you know, it's like there is a saying that a good idea, if not executed well, is not a good idea at all. It doesn't stay a good idea then. So execution is also very important. And we also know that we cannot know everything, so we need to team up. Teamwork is essential, because we cannot take sole credit for everything all the time. Because the more we understand our limitation, the more we start appreciating others' advantages. We cannot be someone like who is a jack of all trade, right? That's not how it should be. So I know my limitations. I know where I am weak at. So that's why I know, probably that's why I know my friends, my colleagues, I mean, who are strong in that area where I lack at. So I think it's very essential for us to know that and appreciate others' talent. And when growth happens in the team, it also affects us individually. So teamwork is essential, I believe.
Sir, are some of these works included in This Is Not an Art Book, the one
Yeah,
that you talked about?
yeah. Many of them. I mean, some of the some of them are not, but because that was made last year. But yeah, many of these works were there in that book. See, that was a self-published book, to be honest, because I didn't get any publisher, so which is good actually, because I could print it in the way I wanted. So this was for some World Forest Day or something. So this was made with those grass carpets that we get. So these
Can I
are,
ask one
sorry,
question?
yeah, please.
Sir, are these artworks, whatever you're showing,
Yeah.
it's requirable in which sort of industry, like in which sector? Where is the
S-
demand?
See, I think it's like, see, as long as you're in design or nowadays, thing is, it's like when we were starting out, we didn't have this UI UX field happening, because but nowadays, there are so many job opportunities in design. So I believe what I do is going to be helpful for anyone who is into art and design, be it in any field, because what I am trying to do is to increase or improve my sense of design and imagination, because that is something which is sacrosanct, which will be needed everywhere. So it's like, uh, if you know how to breathe, you can survive anywhere in this earth, right? So it's like this. If you know how to draw, it doesn't really matter, whether you use Photoshop or Illustrator or Procreate, because you can draw with anything. Even for God's sake, you don't even need Photoshop. You can pick some dirt out of the, like, ground, and then you can draw with it. So it's like this. It's just I feel that the way I see it is, it will only help you to better your design thinking, and where you apply it is your call, your decision.
So is it like parallel learning? Parallelly, like,
See, the thing is, yeah, parallel learning, you can say, because what I believe, that no matter what your job requirement is, if you do not if you stop learning, right? I know your job might be saying that, what, you will be only making, like, interfaces for a software or an app, and you will be requiring this certain apps or softwares to use. But the thing is, but I believe that a good designer should know how to draw, should know how to take photograph, because if we do not evolve, we'll be like dinosaurs, right? We'll go extinct. So it's not parallel learning, but I think learning should be there anyway, right? We cannot stop learning, no matter where we are working and what our job requirement is, because today we are at this job, maybe tomorrow we'll start something new.
okay, sir, I got your point. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, so it's like, Again, this was for Mother's Day. And this is for, I guess, yeah, forgetting something related to dogs. Okay, let me just yeah. So it might grow someone on, but the thing was, how do you use design in order to talk something that people generally avoid talking about? Because when you're talking about poop, like, most of us will be grossed out, right? So I thought, why don't I use the color and the design in such a way that people will at least look at it? So this was made with those 3D pens that we have. It's not the best one, I mean, it's but yeah, it did the work for me. So yeah, it talks about the composition of our poop, but still, due to the color and everything, I mean, we can still talk about it while showing this graphic. Yeah, so this was made for some chocolate day or something like that. So I had used this chocolate syrup to draw this, because the moment you realize that you can create without the use of Photoshop or Procreate, the possibilities increase multifold, right? So what I recommend is, at least for a couple of weeks, one should try to use natural material, or try to use traditional art medium to create, design and artwork. Because, like I'm saying, because now what has happened is, like, the moment we are faced with a design challenge, we just think, what, let me find a photo, let me just draw something on Illustrator. But the thing is, but I believe that, what if we find something better out of this computer or digital thing? At the end of the day, see, of course we are going to bring everything into the computer, we are going to assemble it here, but let me just give half an hour at least, or 1 hour at least, to forage, to go out and look for thing, to hunt for thing. What if we find something which makes it better? Because at the end of the day, of course there will be Photoshop, because I have used Photoshop on this in order to clear out the dirt. Of course I've used it, I've used to check the shadow, to do the color correction and everything. It is not the raw image, but the thing is, but then I took the trouble of going to the market, buying the chocolate bar, then making sure there are water drops on it so that it's chilled. So that part one shouldn't miss out. And as artists, as designers, I mean, our brain is always working, right? And that's why we are in this profession, and that's why we are this, because for the love of it. And so possibilities are endless. and I somehow feel good about that when I mean, that's my viewpoint actually. That when I pick something out from a shop and I shoot it, I feel a stronger connection with my artwork. So what my suggestion would be that you guys also should try it at least for a couple of your work. Yeah, I love eating samosas. So I thought, before eating one, I thought like, why don't I, because what has happened nowadays is like, we have stopped observing things. We look at things, but we don't observe, because before eating food, we take photograph of it. When you go out with our friends and family, we take photograph of it instead of having the food. When we go out to listen to music or something, instead of listening to the music, we are busy taking our phones out and recording the event. But it's not that you guys are doing it, it's a generational thing. I'm not going to say it because I myself do it, and I know that it's my problem. So everybody does it, trust me. And if somebody says that it's the current generation who are doing it, it's not. It's absolutely a lie, a false thing, allegation. We are all doing it, we are all guilty of it. And what I try to is, from time to time, that's why it's like whatever there an objects are there in front of me, what I eat, I just try to see it and try to observe it and understand it a bit also, if I get time. Because trust me, we can only explore if we are, we can only find out if we are willing to explore it. Our mind should be ready for it. So okay, any questions?
Sir, I had a question.
Yeah.
How much do you submerge yourself into the topic that you're making a graphic on before you do it, so that you don't misunderstand or it doesn't get misinterpreted by your audience?
Can you just repeat your question, please?
How much effort do you put into understanding the topic that you're working on, so that your intentions with the project doesn't get misunderstood by the audience that you're working on?
See, the thing is, as long as you're understanding the topic or the subject, do not think much about and okay, fine, let's put it this way. You'll never be able to make everyone happy, first. Second, we more or less we know our general consensus about certain subject. Like, I'm not going to make a visual. I'm not going to make an ad of beef burger during Navratra, because we know the sentiment of this country, we know the sentiment of people, so we have to be sensitive about it. What the way I look at it is whether it evokes any emotion in my audience or not. And some emotions are very basic, right? When I'm talking about Borolin, when I'm talking about certain brand, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? For example, Berlin, it comes to me as nostalgia and love.
It's a staple in every household.
Yeah. So if you show that love, you can never make anyone unhappy. And during Navratra also, like some part of the region, they have non-veg food, some have veg food or something, as per the religious requirement. But essentially, the thing about Navratra is devotion. So use the devotion part. Because there will be always people who will be divided when it comes to because there will be extremism in everything that you do. So we are not here to create tension. We are just here to for example, when I'm making a graphic, I'm just trying to make the graphic visually simple so that anybody can see it. Because we have this thing, right? When we are making graphic, we just think, it's for, ye jo, auto wala, rickshaw wala, why should they see it? Because we are making it for people who are literate, who knows English. But if we think like that, we are missing out on a huge population or a huge target audience. I mean, we cannot judge people, we cannot be classists. So I try to make a visual, like for example, my mom, she doesn't know English. So whenever I make a graphic, I try to use visual which she can pick and say, you know what, this looks good. What is it about? So that approach should be there, the simplistic approach. Do not think that, making it fancy, using fancy software or fancy item will make it good. Because what happens is, in order to bling it, sometimes we forget the emotion. It's like saying that, sometimes we talk about this Bollywood heroes and Bollywood heroines, like they use Botox and everything. They look ageless when they're 90 also. But then we love to see a 90-year-old like our grandparents, they look like. Because when we think about our grandparents, it's their white hair, their silver hair, their frail skin. That's the beauty of it.
We love to be able to identify in.
Yeah, exactly. तो वो सब मत सोच कि किसको ये होगा, because if your intent is pure, people will get it. Do not try to poke or make something just to get a reaction out of people. Do not do that, because we are not here to make people annoyed or anxious about something. It is not our job.
So since we're running out of time,
Yeah.
I'm opening it to the audience. So
Yeah.
if anybody has any questions, they can ask.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
So how do you tackle your creative blocks?
Oh, I have many things running simultaneously. Like when I don't feel like drawing, I take photographs. When I don't like taking photographs, I read books. And sometimes it is also essential for us to not do anything. Do not be overwhelmed, and try to keep 2-3 projects running simultaneously, because there is a great deal of chance that you might get bored of it. So then you can just leave it, start something new. Then you can come back later and revisit it, and say after a month if you feel like. And do not wait for other people to inspire you, because it might come, it might not come also. It is our duty. It is when we are hungry, We are not babies anymore. We go and look for food, right? So our creation, our art is something that we won't be able to survive without doing it. That's why we are all artists and designers, right? So, and no matter what you do in your career, just do remember that there are things that we do for work and there are things that we do for our soul. So that's why two things must be running simultaneously. It's good if it merges, but sometimes in order to fund our passion, we need money. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank
Sir,
you.
there is a question in the chat box.
Okay.
Is our imagination restricted when working under someone in the corporate world?
Yeah, it does. But the thing is, but you know what? A plant or a life always finds its way. It's a saying, right? You will see a plant growing in the oddest of crack in of a house. So one who has to grow will grow. There will be bosses who will stop you from thinking something new, but of course there will be limitations from time to time that we won't be able to leave the job. We'll have to do the job in order to pay for our bills. That is there, that has to be there. But if you feel that somebody is restricting you, trust me, that means you are doing something good. That means you are on the right track. The day you realize that you're getting restricted, that means you are on the right path. That means you are thinking, because many people don't even think or understand.
Are there any more questions?
So I have a question.
Yeah, surely.
Sir, how does the projects get validated? Means, is there a process that if after making that it is checked under guidance of the people and then published?
See, when I was a junior designer, it used to get checked by the senior creative guys. But as you grow older and rise on up the ladder, all the onus is up to us, because now it so happens is we have to be careful about our own credential, our credibility. So the pressure increases like that. But earlier, of course, it will be checked by your team lead and everything, so as to say, because but nowadays, now it will happen to you also. As you 4-5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, you will see that you will be aware that what you can do or what you should do, because people will be knowing you. There will be work where you will say that why this is not like me, because you will have your own standard, and that's a very beautiful thing, because your standard will keep on increasing as you grow. So you're not going to check it with somebody else. You are going to increase the standard for yourself. You'll keep looking at your old work and you will start saying, oh God, and that's hideous. And that's very good. I mean, I'm pretty sure you do it now also, because we are all improving, and this thing and this journey is a lifelong journey. Nobody can say that I have mastered art or design. We creative souls are so sensitive beings. I mean, we get influenced by everything that is around us. So my father says something very beautiful, I believe. It's like we need to listen to good music, watch good films, have to be surrounded by positive people, and practice every day. So I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I'm not trying to lecture you guys, but that's how I see it. I'm just trying to improve myself every day. You know, it's just that, you know, I have started little earlier than you, but then you will also, you know, catch up.
So as we bring the session to a close, I would like to thank you for taking out your valuable time and sharing your
My
thoughts with
pleasure.
us.
My pleasure.
Your insights will surely help us in our journey, and we wish you the best of luck in all your future endeavors.
Thank you so much. Same goes for you guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.